Everybody was falling for trends. Everybody was falling for what was new. Oh yeah, this Lamar, this hot. Oh yeah, hey man, these Lions, it's hot, dog. Oh, we about to get this Lions, Ravens Super Bowl. Everybody was excited about that. And when I tell you in December, Pat gonna find a way to be in that fucking thing, whether he makes it there or not. You know what else I told you, Cole? Hey, all those shitty wide receivers gonna start catching that thing miraculously. What happened? Marquez Valdez-Scantling, of all people, iced the game because Pat decided, you ass. I'm not gonna try to score a touchdown with you, Marquez. I'm gonna throw you the easiest, most catchable ball for your trash ass to catch so we can close this game out because you suck. And you know what? That's why Lamar ain't on this level because Lamar still be throwing to his wide receivers like they good, right? He was out there throwing them passes to not Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is good. He was out there trying to throw the Nelson Aguilar into windows like he not ass. Like we haven't seen Nelson Aguilar be terrible. But I told y'all, everybody was like, oh man, this is the year you can get Pat. Hey man, if I'm the Browns, we was out here with Joe Flacco talking about some, hey man, I might want to see the Chiefs this year. Come on, man. Come on. We was getting way too disrespectful. Now he's back in the. By the way, since he's lost Tyreek Hill, back-to-back AFC championships. Back-to-back. I believe he has just as many Super Bowl appearances now without Tyreek Hill as with Tyreek Hill. But he has bad receivers, Quincy. It's not the same offense, Quincy. It's just they don't feel the same. It's like LeBron. I don't give a fuck what that man does in the regular season. It's Bron, dog. He gonna put up 38. He gonna put up 35 when it matter. He gonna find a way to get Rodney Hood to make them fucking jumpers. Like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna drop for him. Also, hey man, shout out to the Lions. They had a hell of a half of football, man. Cole, I was wondering. I was like, hey, man, shout out. I was so happy for Detroit for that first half of football, but it was also to me like a Final Destination movie because I'm watching these dudes score, and part of me's happy because, like, hey, look, Baltimore already lost. I don't give a fuck now who wins the Super Bowl. Like, as long as Baltimore ain't going to do it, I don't care. So I don't need the Lions to win or lose. I wanted the Lions to win, right? Like, why not? Let's do it for the little guy. And they got up. They got that first touchdown. I'm like, okay. They got that first touchdown before I even got to the game. I was too busy talking shit about Roquan Smith to watch the first touchdown, right? Like, that Ravens pack hit well. I needed that. Ooh. Shout out to the Ravens for laying that egg, baby. Completely winnable game for you. And by the way, you ain't never going to have another chance to win it all like that again, dog. It was right there for you. That must hurt. Hey, Lamar Jackson, dog. He got some shit to answer, but we're going to get to that. But first off, Cole, walk me through what your emotions were just for the first half. Right? Because from the outside looking out, like, yo, it's lit. Like, they got a whole fucking stadium of Detroitians out there going nuts every time the Detroit Lions do something, dog. They were showing the people in the crowd, they were showing this dad and son duo high-five each other and look at each other and go, oh my God, the Lions are going to win it. And I just thought while I was watching that kid and his dad have a pivotal moment in their relationship, a moment that they would never forget, but not for the reasons that they thought at the time. See, they thought they was going to always remember that moment because it'd be a beautiful thing that they shared. But you know why they're going to remember that moment, Cole? You know why those two, that father-son duo, that high-five after that touchdown, going to remember that moment for the rest of their life, Cole? Because that's going to be the happiest the Lions have ever made them in their life. Right there. That end of that first half, when you looked around and it was up by 21. Hey, that is the happiest the Detroit Lions might ever make you. Straight up. That is it. Even if they get to the Super Bowl and win, I don't know if you can watch this one out in time for it to hit like it should have. Because that is it. That is peak Lion fandom. I'm sorry. That son, just quit now, dog. Quit now. Don't join for the next 30 years. You've already gotten the most out of it. You're never going to beat that. You're never going to beat how you felt at halftime of that NFC Championship game. But that shit was amazing. Cole, walk me through your first half experience. Like, what? Because you was actually a believer.
I'm not going to lie, bro. I was watching that first half just thinking, I half-heartedly kind of thought the Lions could beat the 49ers when we talked about it last week. After that first half, I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, oh, I should have been all in. I was like, my faith wavered for no reason.
When they got that interception, I started to believe. Like, that linebacker.
That's when I was like,
But you know what happened? See, look, I was nervous the whole time they were scoring, Cole, because I'm like, you saw me. I was like, hey, man, this is too easy for the Lions. I don't know if this smells right. And then
when it started? It started when they got that interception. And C.J. Gardner-Johnson got that dumbass penalty. And I was just like, that could come back to bite them. What happened right after that? They got the turnover, didn't score. So it's like, okay, they up a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's cool.
I wanted to go get food at this point. Like, I was like, you know what, man? It's a wrap. The Detroit. I want to make sure that I'm eating when the Detroit Lions get over the mountaintop. That's what I wanted to be. I was like, let me make sure I'm at a good place so I can watch history happen. I went next door, got myself a little bowl and everything, real quick. I made sure I got the quick stop. I was like, you know what, man? I want Cole talking shit already, tagging me in this fucking stupid ass picture of Jared Goff talking about you must respect him and all of this. And I was just like, man, you know what, Detroit, y'all having y'all moments. And if you got to have some of these moments at my expense, all men, but don't lose.
Hey, I ain't gonna cap. They was up by a bunch. I was like, okay, I know Q go spin this about Patrick Mahomes. We gonna talk about that in a second. He gonna spin this. He gonna spin a block on his Patrick Mahomes stuff. I get that. It's like, but I'm gonna get mine too, though. And then what happened? It was the fourth down when Josh Reynolds dropped that ball. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, that's how it starts.
See, look, that's what so I came back. I left. I was like, you know what, man? Detroit got this, man. This Detroit, they got this, dog. They not about Brock Purdy throwing interceptions and shit. This ain't Brock Purdy looking like trash right now, dog. Detroit got this. So you know what I did, man? I went and got some food. I come back and I'm like, man, what's going on? Because the first thing I see is Brandon Ayuk dribble a ball off his face and catch it. I was like, oh shit. Hey, well, that might make this interesting. And then I looked at the scoreboard, Cole, but I'm like, it's more than interesting. It's close.
I couldn't believe it, bro. I couldn't believe when he caught that ball. I was like, "Oh, they're losing for sure, 100% losing."
No. It wasn't when he caught the ball. They scored the touchdown. Here's where I knew it was over. When they fumbled the run right after, and then Kyle Juszczyk toe tapped for a 9-yard gain, and I was like, oh, you're fucked. No. You're fine, dog. Like, when some shit like that happens, oh, it's a wrap. It's about to be bad. Like, we might forget this game was fucking close. I haven't seen a collapse like that. Like, that that is bad, man. And look, Chouch brought this up. He thinks it's worse than the 3-1 lead. I mean, not the 3-1 lead, but the 28-3. Now, I think that one's always going to be worse because it happened in the Super Bowl.
No, it happened in the Super Bowl.
But I will add these qualifiers, Cole. It was Tom Brady that did it to you.
Mm-hmm.
And at least you waited until the fourth quarter in overtime to lose. Dog, they was up by 20 in the third quarter. And by the time they got the ball back in the fourth quarter, the game was fucking tied. Okay?
I couldn't believe it, bro. And I couldn't believe it. And it was so crazy watching it. It was like watching a car crash. But it's like watching a car crash from the very beginning of the car crash to the end. It was so bad.
To me, I was watching this game, and the whole game, I felt like I was watching a Final Destination movie. Because you know when you watching like a scary movie and they having some good shit happen and you nervous because you know that this is a fucking scary movie and this ain't going to end well for the people having fun right now. Like, you know that feeling you get? That's how I felt watching this game because I'm watching the Lions have all this fun. But I'm like, this movie ain't about the Lions. Like, this movie ain't never about the Lions. Like, this ain't about to be no feel-good NFC Championship game. This is a horror movie. And when Juszczyk caught that toe tap, I was like, oh, yes, Jason just showed up and he's watching everybody, dog.
Dog, I was so pissed, bro. No, that play where Brock Purdy, and I hate talking about Brock Purdy. I hate talking about him. I really
hey, give respect where it's due.
Absolutely
Brock
not.
Put him on the backpack, though.
Absolutely not, bro. He tried to throw an interception. He tried his hardest to throw a pick, and the DB lets the ball bounce off his face mask into Brandon Ayuk's hands. He is the luckiest quarterback. He's God's favorite. He is God's favorite. He's the
God's favorite versus God's best creation this Sunday, baby.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, hey, bro, I just have to accept he's the luckiest quarterback of all time. He is. I've never seen a quarterback with
that's
more
where he's like Tom
luck.
Brady. Like with Tom, people forget how much unfortunate, wild bullshit just happened to go in Tom's favor in the early years. Like, because Tom eventually became great, like all-time great, we forget that it wasn't always like that with Tom, especially before like 2006. So we kind of like rewrite those years like, oh, Tom was actually a great quarterback. And like, no. Tom was very fortunate. Like, we were seriously calling him a game manager back then. Like, before that was a polite term to say about somebody. But hey, man, I was this close, dog. I was this close to thinking Detroit might not, because I was like, you know what? It happened for Cleveland. Why can't it happen for Detroit? We had a game like that in the playoffs. But then I got back from my food, and I had every reason to never question that again. I was like, nah, dog. Nah, it's about to happen. Like, the second Ayuk dribbled that ball.
Like, you know what really pissed me off? I was like, you know what? Not only did they lose, but it really wasn't Jared Goff's fault. like it wasn't that man's fault.
Hey, look, I've never seen Jared. You know how impressively you got to fuck up as a coach for you to blow a lead like that? And we talking about you?
Like, there were people on Twitter I really respect when they talk about football. And they were like, man, Jared Goff was bad in that second half. I was like, no, he wasn't. Nobody caught the ball. What did you want him to do? They sold him out. His receiver sold him out much in the same way that Zay Flowers sold out Lamar in the AFC Championship game, dog. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about receivers not making plays when they're supposed to make plays. And how
you know what's funny, Cole?
Quarterback.
We swore that was going to be the Chiefs, right? Oh, we swore that was going to be the Chiefs. Hey, man, this is going to happen to the Chiefs, though. Wait. It's Pat, dog. This shit don't happen to Pat. Like, not in the playoffs. Like, look, whenever Pat looks weak in the regular season, that just means it's a good time to play him in the regular season, dog. Don't tell me about no fucking playoffs. It's a different. Nah.
I hate that we're doing this. Hey,
this was LeBron with the 4 seed.
They scored 17 points.
First off, I do think that just saying they scored 17 points is a bit dishonest. That was good defense being played in most of that game. Like, it wasn't like the offense was bad. I thought the defense was spectacular in most of this game. And then, if you watch the game, you saw the spectacular plays that both quarterbacks were making, especially in the first half of this game.
This is my point, though. When we doing it's Pat, Dog.
It's Pat.
They did nothing in
finished
that
the
second
game?
half.
Who finished the
They didn't do
game?
anything in that second half.
Except for
dog.
finish the game.
Come on, man. It's more about what the Ravens. It's more about what the Ravens didn't do than what Pat actually did. Like it's basically more on them.
But guess
They
what?
lost it more than
One
Pat won it,
team was in a position to make a play to get back into the game. Another team was in a position to end the game. And what team eventually ended the game? With what throw? Behind who? Pat. Like, those are deep. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, of all people, it's Pat, dog. And then let's not cap. Pat was out there running that thing. Pat was running that thing more than the Ravens, right? Like, Pat was out there scooting.
That's why they lost. That's why they lost the game, dog. This is what pissed me off about the Ravens.
But you know why you don't run the ball if you the Ravens? You in your own head. You know why? Because it's Pat, dog.
That's why.
Because it's Pat. That's why I said it's the Pat Mahomes of it all. If that was Blaine Gabbert in that game, run the fuck out the ball. But they're like, we got to put up points. It's Pat. It's Pat. We got to throw this thing.
They didn't score any points. This is why I'm pissed.
It's Pat.
I was like, y'all got in your own. I was like, this is on Todd Monken more than anything else. First of all, dog, they ran the ball like with their running backs like 6 times all game. 6 times.
Well, how many carries did Lamar have? Because let's be real, Lamar's their leading rusher and their leading rushing attempt.
Like 5. I think he only had like 5. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough.
Here's the thing, though. I think that's Lamar's fault. Like, Lamar was in a position to do something with his legs more often than not in this game, but he was so dedicated to wanting to win with the pocket. He was so stubborn in this game about running that ball.
What are you doing?
Like, this is where I'm like,
prove people wrong. Like, you try to prove people wrong. Like, oh, I could pass. I could be a pass. Bro, if there was ever a game for you to feed into the stereotype that you are just a runner, this was the game to just do it, because that was the way. That was the whole game plan to beat the Chiefs.
This is, as much as I think Lamar Jackson is still the second best quarterback in the NFL, his biggest flaw is that he cares too much about how he's perceived. Like, he just does. And you get these moments, right? Because I remember the Cincinnati Bengals talking about this. They spent the whole week purposely being like, well, you know, he ain't really much from the pocket, because they knew if they did that, he would try to win from the pocket. Like, and look, he's not bad from the pocket. He's really not. But when he takes his own legs out the game, he does the defense's job for them. And it makes no sense that Brock Purdy and Pat Mahomes had more impressive runs this weekend than Lamar Jackson. But Lamar was like, he took himself out of it. Like, there were just times where I'm like, hey, dog, you just got to run this. And it's unfortunate that the reasons he feels like this have nothing to do with anything he's ever done to himself. He played in a pro-style system. Like, he does not deserve the pressure that ultimately created this mindset. But it is there, and he's always trying to kind of disprove it. It's kind of like, well, now I ain't gonna do that because then you're gonna talk about anime. But it's just one of those.
I was gonna talk about that anyway. But and I think he ran 8
one
times.
Of those,
I actually think Lamar ran 8 times this in the game.
Yeah, and it's just he had to be the leading rusher and the leading attempts. But it's one of these things where it's like, hey, sometimes Lamar, you gotta run. Like, you gotta put the team on your backpack. And Lamar's an excellent passer. I still think he's a really good passer, but he's ungodly as a runner. He's unmatched. And in these moments, and the reason he doesn't succeed in these moments is because he doesn't want to rely on his strongest tools in these moments, right? When it comes to winning and doing what you have to put the team on your back, for whatever reason, he's hell-bent on trying to prove that he could do it as a pocket passer. He doesn't have to. He can put the team on his back and running the football. Who gives a shit? Like, but he doesn't want to do it like that. He wants to prove to everybody that he's not one thing. And by doing that, he's giving everybody the leeway to talk this shit about him that they was going to talk about at the end of the day anyway.
Anyway, bro, who cares? Who cares, man? You should have been the greatest Russian quarterback of all time in that game, and you probably would have won the game.
Because look, there are games where he can just dominate from the pocket and chill. But in a game like this, low scoring, Pat ain't scoring, you ain't scoring. All right, give me the ball. I'm about to run. Right? Like, just we about to run Lamar left, Lamar right. Look, I don't know if I could trust Zay Flowers to hold on to this ball, but I can make somebody miss. Give me the ball, right? But instead of that, he wants to prove a point. You know what it's like? It's like, remember when teams used to goat LeBron into shooting jumpers?
Yep.
And he would just shoot all those jumpers to try to prove a point?
And the Cavs or the Heat would lose?
Oh, yeah, we were talking about like 2011. This happened all the time. 2011, well, 2007 to 2011, right?
Yeah.
Like this were the peak. Oh, just make LeBron shoot years, right?
Make LeBron shoot.
This is legitimately what they're doing with Lamar, but it's like he's not a bad jump shot shooter. He's not a bad pocket passer. But hey, man, every time he shoots a jump shot, you're like, win. Woo. Hey, because if he did that other thing, I don't know what I'm about to do. And that's the thing. Like, he don't.
There's two plays in that game that stood out to me. And I tweeted about the first one, and you immediately replied. I got hit with the AO. I got hit with the AO on Twitter because I said, if you got a chance to finish the sack on Lamar and you don't do it, it's a death sentence. Yeah, they hit me with the AO. That's crazy. And I get that. I get that one. But he escapes, immediately throws a touchdown. Other play that stood out to me, that fourth down when they went for it. It was a 4th and 1, and he got like 25 yards on the 4th and 1. It looked like he was going to score.
When he threw the ball and it got tipped up and he caught it and almost ran that thing in. Like, at some point, it's kind of like watching. It is kind of like watching Braun, where you're like, bro, just go at the rim. They can't stop you. They couldn't do anything. Dunk. Like, you're unstoppable. But he wants to prove a point, and he does that. Like, it is eerily similar. Like, the feeling I get watching Lamar is the same frustrating feeling you got watching LeBron James in those last few years with the Cavaliers, where you're just like, you're literally the most unstoppable person when you just decide to just get to. Like, it took LeBron until game 6 of 2012 to just say, you know what, dog? I'm dunking. I'm dunking and you're not stopping it. I don't care how. I'm dunking. I'm doing it, right? And I'm just going to break your coverage like that. And Lamar, like, he's got to have one of these games where it's the fourth quarter and he says to himself, I'm not putting this game in no damn Zay Flowers' hands. I'm not about to see what Isaiah Likely about to. I'm about to just tuck and run this shit and get us home. And he didn't. He was in a prime position to do it. If they would have done that,
they would have won.
You might have beat the Chiefs.
It's not even a might to me, dog. They would have won that game if he just ran it and they committed to running the ball. They would have won the game. They would have won the game.
And look, that ultimately you could blame Tom Bakken for that, but if Lamar wanted to run and if Lamar wanted to get some runs in there, he could have said something. He Lamar fucking Jackson. Like, he's not helpless in this whole situation, right? Like, he's the highest paid employee on the team. I'm pretty sure if Lamar was like, we run it. Hey, you know what John said? We run it, dog. Like, that's what we about to do. Lamar want to run. We run it. You know what Lamar can always do? Check out of it. He know the plays. He can check out. Okay, we gonna run. What they gonna do? Bench him? Right? Like, that's the thing. With some guys, Jared Goff, we can use play calling as an excuse, right? Because Jared Goff ain't calling no fucking shots. Okay? Like, only shots he calls is at the bank and at the bar. Okay? That's the only time he calls shots. On that football field, ain't nobody like, yeah, man, well, Jared said he about to run twist. Like, get the fuck out of here. That's not what we about to do. Like, we running what I want to do. He's not in charge. Okay?
Hey, easy on my guy. Easy on my guy. It wasn't his fault they lost.
Is it not true?
It wasn't his fault they lost. Maybe they should give him a little bit more authority. Maybe things would have been.
Oh yeah, he would have threw 2 interceptions, dog. Like, we all know what it is. Jared Goff unsupervised. Yeah, that's a good idea. Like,
listen, it ain't his fault they lost. It ain't his fault. If I'm Jared Goff, I'm like, you know what? Y'all lost.
It was never gonna be Jared. Look, here's the thing. it could only be Jared Goff's fault if they lost. like he would have to throw like 2 picks, but it ain't gonna be Jared Goff's fault if they won. We've been talking about Jamar Gibbs. That's what we was about to make this thing about Jamar Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown because we know what's up at that quarterback position. But back to my main point, he's Lamar Jackson. I don't want to hear about no play calling. Like Todd Monken doesn't outrank you. I'm sorry, he just came here. He does not outrank you. Get the fuck out of here with the play call.
You want Lamar to be like, man, shut the fuck up, Todd. Listen, that's what
he's literally done it before, I'm pretty sure. Like, have you seen how Lamar talks to his teammates at times? Oh, yeah, you think he ain't never told the play call to shut the fuck up? Are you serious?
He be clapping. He be like, what the fuck?
He was so bad at Zay Flowers on that drive, dog.
He was livid, dog. He was livid.
Yeah, look, because he in charge.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. Everything we said about what the Ravens should have done to win that game is true. But you know what's real fucked up? If Zay Flowers don't fumble that ball, they probably still would have won the game.
Nah, they don't win that game.
Man, if he scores there, I'm pretty sure they was gonna come back and win that game, dog. You can feel it. You can feel it.
If you were in a situation where you could get multiple scores up on the Chiefs, yeah. But look, man, close game. I like Lamar a lot. I think Lamar is great. That's still Pat, dog. And look, Pat gonna come up and rise to the occasion. Like, Pat ain't about to go out there and just get beaten in a close game. Get the fuck out of here. Like, you got to blow out Pat. I'm sorry. Hey, call it what you want, but I'm usually right. You got to blow out Pat. You got to get Pat the fuck out of here. Like, you can't play around. You get Pat down 14, score. Go for 2. Fuck it. No, don't. You can't let Pat breathe, dog. Like, nah. I'm not about to give Lamar Jackson the benefit of the doubt on Lamar over Pat Mahomes in a close game. I'm sorry. Like,
man, I was like, absolutely he fumbled that ball, and I was just like,
but let's talk about that drive.
Any chance of the comeback? Any chance?
Because I saw that drive, and I was like, man, you know what? You know whose career that drive made me think of?
Who?
Deshaun Jackson. I was like, that's his whole career summed up in one drive right there. Deshaun Jackson's whole career. Huge play, incredible speed, talent. Okay, did a little bit too much there. Did a little bit too much, sent the team back. Yeah, but you know what? Came back, fought back hard, got that thing in the oh, what he fumbled? Like that, is that not Deshaun Jackson's entire career summed up in one drive by Zay Flowers? Look, people are on Zay Flowers' ass because he might have cost the Ravens a game, but nobody is talking about that art that he just dropped there. Like, I was like, yo, man, that man dropped some art in the middle of this game. Like, that's nuts to me. Because why did he extend the ball? I don't understand that. It ain't first down, it ain't second down, it ain't third down, it ain't fourth down, Cole. You just got a first down. You just try to get some yak. You know what you usually do? Right? And then you try to just get pushed into the end zone. That man, why? There was time.
There was no reason.
It was like 9 minutes in the first. Like, you don't. And look, people are going to be like, well, he's a rookie. You got to he ain't no rookie to football. You don't do that shit at any level of football, man. Like, any level of football.
I was talking about this in the chat, and one of the dudes in the chat, he's in the NFL or whatever. And he was like, when you have an opportunity to score, you never get mad at the guy you never get mad at the guy for making the attempt to put points on the board. You never get upset about that. And I get that. And I'm just like, but dog, sometimes you just go down. Just go down. Just go down. We're fine.
Shout out to Rashad Higgins in Cole's chat, because like that's something you only say when you did it.
No.
I know.
Defensive player actually said it.
I'm pretty sure I know who you're talking about. But yeah, look, hey, it's easy to say that on defense. You know who never says that? Quarterbacks. Ask a quarterback right now. Hey man, should you dive? No. Ask Lamar Jackson. Like,
No, go down.
quarterbacks, coaches. Yeah, that's a player. So look, that has to come from a defensive player because defensive players got a selfish mindset about touchdowns because they don't come that often for them. So if you get an opportunity to score, of course you're gonna stretch that motherfucker out. You don't get no chances to do this shit. Zay Flowers got 8 touchdowns. Why the fuck he so thirsty to get this one? Just let it happen, dog. Hey man, you got big ass Gus Edwards and Lamar Jackson. You gonna get that yard. Like I promise you gonna get that yard, baby. Like you ain't gotta do this.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, bro, they literally go hand this ball off to Lamar or Gus Edwards, and they go score immediately.
Here's the thing that was nuts to me. I was so sure that call was going to be controversial. I saw that thing live. I'm like, ain't no way this ain't going to be a controversy. They're going to be talking about the league is rigged and all of this. And that replay showed, I was like, well, that's clear and concise. That's the T fumble.
The clearest fumble I've ever seen in my life.
And look, man, I know the Ravens were still in it for like 10 minutes after that, but they were out of it, dog. They were completely out of it after that. Like that was, you know when it happens, dog, when your team does something and your team just starts to believe this ain't your night. Right? When Kyle Juszczyk toe taps on the sideline after you just fumbled the fucking ball and gave up a face mask touchdown. You know what that did to the Lions sideline? Hey, dog, we really not winning today. It ain't our year, right? Like Jeff Teague on the sideline when he was on the Bucks. Hey, man, I told you it ain't our year. Like, it just ain't in the cards.
And they won.
He was like, but then Kyrie went down.
Shout out Jeff Teague. Shout out 520 because that's the funniest podcast out.
but that right there, that because what happened like the next drive, Roquan Smith just starting to push motherfuckers for no reason. Like just what salty, he got the saltiest penalty of all time at the end of this game.
Real quick. How happy were you? To get your Roquan slander off after they lost that game?
Bro, it's always there. My argument about Roquan is always this. He's good. He ain't nearly as good as y'all talk about him last. Like you watch Fred Warner, right? You watch Fred Warner on the next game. You like, damn, look at Fred Warner making all these plays. If I'm like, hey man, Cole, show me your favorite Fred Warner play. You got a compilation to show me. Now tell me your favorite single Roquan Smith moment.
I'm gonna be real with you. I got multiple moments of JOK getting tackles for loss in games I can point to, be like, yeah, that's what it's supposed to look like. Roquan?
Hey man, at what point does that matter? Like I'm not saying I'm not making the TJ Watt argument. It was like, well, it's all about tackles for losses and everything. Like, no. I understand he has a job to do. He's a Mike linebacker. He's not going to be roving around the line of scrimmage like Kyle Hamilton and Pat Queen. He's not an edge rusher. I get it. But he is like 30th in linebackers and tackles for loss. You know what else he's 30th in? Average depth of tackle. How does this shit not get talked? Like, people think I'm hating because I point this stuff out. But, like, Cole, once you hear that, you go, damn, that don't sound like the Roquan Smith they talk about on TV. Don't that feel like I'm tripping? Like, I'm making this shit up because the way they talk about this man on television, you would swear that those stats ain't there. And those aren't, like, bullshit stats. They are very relevant stats. Like, I feel like average depth of tackle, that matters when you talk about how many tackles somebody got. He got a 4.8 average depth of tackle. You run at Roquan Smith 3 times, it's the first fucking down and some. What is this? You know what JOK's is? 1.8. But my beef isn't with Roquan as much as how perplexed I am that this very logical argument gets yelled at like I'm just being an asshole for no reason. I'm like, yo, it's right there. And then every time, here's how I know Roquan is not as good as everybody says. Whenever I say this shit about Roquan, you know what the defense always is? It's not numbers, right, that matter. They bring up total tackles, even though Hey man, I don't give a fuck about your total tackles when you average 5 yards after. Like you ain't a safety. You line up 5 yards past the line of scrimmage and you tackling dudes 4.8 yards. You're not even moving. What the fuck? Like no, like that's not good. That's really not good. But here's the thing that gets me. Every time I make these arguments, these sound, well-researched arguments about Roquan Smith, you know what I get? Well, Quincy, he joined that Ravens team and the vibe of that defense just changed. I'm like, he just fucking vibes. Like, it's just Roquan with the vibes. Like, that's worth a second round pick because he got good vibes. That's everything. He just changed the vibes. He's such a locker room leader. And I'm like, you know what? That sounds like some bullshit. That's what we say about Anthony Walker. Like, what you mean, dog? We making him out to be the second coming of Ray Lewis because he doing the same shit we praise Anthony Walker for? Holding it down in the middle, making sure the play calls get in, making sure everybody's aligned, and then making tackles 5 yards past the line of scrimmage and keeping the vibes high. I'm like, he's Anthony Walker with a Prada bag. That's literally how they describe him. And I get called an asshole for pointing out that might not be one of the best 5 linebackers in football. That's all you can say about him. Like we never are. I've never seen this tweet. Roquan's dominating and controlling this game. I've seen him tweet about Fred Warner like that. I've seen him tweet about J.O.K. like that. I've seen him tweet about Kyle Hamilton like that. I've seen him tweet about Pat Queen like that, but it ain't never Roquan. Where was Roquan when it was a time to make a turnover or a big sack on Pat Mahomes? Everybody else is doing it. Where was Zero? High-fiving motherfuckers, keeping the vibes high. And that's all I'm saying. Like, dog, we giving a lot of hype. He's not even the third or fourth best player on that defense. Matabuke's a better playmaker. Pat Queen's a better playmaker. Kyle Hamilton's a better playmaker. Brandon Stevens been a better playmaker this year at corner than him. But then I point that out and they go, well, Quincy, you simply don't understand. Roquan Smith unlocks them all. So because other people are doing shit, he getting credit. He getting magical assists. All right, dog. All right.
You hate this man so much.
I don't hate this man. I don't hate Roquan Smith. I think he's a fine enough dude. But I hate the arguments for Roquan Smith. I'm like, these are the dumbest arguments, man, that are mainstream.
This is your NFL Carl Anthony Towns. That's who he is. That's who he is.
Every time I get proven right. Every time I get proven right. Every time I get proven right about this.
Well, you hate hard.
It's because I don't hate the player. I hate the arguments that they use to prop the player up because I'm like, this is clear and obvious bullshit.
You actually hate Cat. You actually hate Cat.
No.
Draymond Green choked out Rudy Gobert, and the first thing you said was, "It should have been Cat." That is hate, sir. That is real hate. You really hate that man.
Yeah, somebody pointed out I need to Stephen A. Smith that tape. Roquan Smith is a baller, right? University of Georgia.
Why are y'all asking for impressions?
But that man's straight garbage. He's straight garbage. He never shows up in a big moment. He has small hands. He can't catch the ball. And then the 49ers were talking shit about Roquan Smith too in the Instagram Live. And I was like, I've made it. I've made it.
He was like, he looks sad. Look at him. He looks sad. He's sad.
All that shit. Hey, I'm just saying, if it becomes popular to hate on Roquan Smith, I Soulja Boy'd that shit. You know where it started. Because it started here. Right? They stole that shit from me. Okay.
We got super chats about the Ravens. We got to get to it. So we start talking about something else.
All right, damn, finally a stream time in time for the Still Told squad to catch it. Rooting for the Chiefs because I don't want to see fraudulent Purdy win the Super Bowl.
Oh, hold on. Thank you for saying that. That man is a fraud, bro. That man is a fraud. I'm so tired of acting like he's good, dog. I'm so sick of pretending that Brock Purdy's a good quarterback. He's not good, man. He's not. He tries to turn the ball over at least 4 or 5 times a game. The other team just don't catch it. That's all it is. And then he make a couple plays, and everybody's like, oh, y'all were saying he's a game manager. He is a game manager. He literally is. That's what he is, dog. That's what he is. You know who he is? You know who he is, Q? You remember that 08 Celtics team? We talked about it last week. You know that 08 Celtics team? You remember?
You about to call him Rondo?
He's Rondo. That's what he is. He's Rajon Rondo. That's who he is. He is 08 early Rajon Rondo. You know what Rajon Rondo's job was?
He had the good vibes on defense, and he brought a championship mentality.
You know what his main job was?
You know, he did a good job facilitating.
Get the ball to the stars, and you make sure you get it to them in their spots, and you make sure you get it to them on time. He is Rajon Rondo in 08.
They don't win that championship if it's Derek Fisher pushing that ball. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta have the right guy.
Derek Fisher won the next 2 championships. I don't know about that, bro.
Was he the starting point guard at that point?
Yes, he was the starting point guard in all of Kobe's 5 championships. He was starting. All 5? I'm pretty sure
Ain't
all
no
5.
fucking way. He was starting in 2013. Well, no, 2011.
2009, 2010. He was the starting point guard of Los Angeles Lakers. Yes.
It's funny as hell.
Beat Rondo in 2010, as a matter of fact.
It's funny as hell you don't think about Ron Artest having championship rings because, like, it feels like Meta World Peace and Ron Artest are legitimately 2 different people. Because I was watching that Malice in the Palace documentary. I was like, damn, man, it's sad that Ron didn't get that ring. I'm like, shut up, Quincy, he got the ring. Meta World Peace. But it just felt like such a different dude because I don't feel like Meta World Peace would have done that. But Ron would have.
You know what we don't talk about? You know how we talk about that? You know how we talk about that Draymond performance in 2016 in Game 7, even though they lost?
Yeah.
That Ron Artest performance in Game 7 in 2010, high key is the reason they actually won. He was hooping. But we get distracted. What the other super chat saying? What the other super chat saying?
We're not a very focused group here. Let me bring Greg in so Greg can push us into the super chats. Hey, Greg.
What's up, guys?
Hey, everybody, this is Greg.
Hey, I don't normally look this red. My camera's being weird. I'm a very normal looking guy.
He's still mad about the Buckeyes hiring Bill O'Brien. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, there's steam coming out of my ears. All right. Mike Walk, 32. That Zay Flowers fumble should be called the fumble 2.0.
I wish Zay had a more better, like, Zay fumbles.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad the Ravens fans get to feel a little bit of that pain that we got to feel. I'm glad.
Man, I want to hear what Raven fans sounded like when Zay Flowers fumbled that.
Say,
bro, what? Bro, you not fumble this shit.
You gotta be kidding me,
bro. That ball not out, bro. Bro. Bro, 14 team, bro.
I'm so happy they lost.
I wish the Ravens could make the Super Bowl just so they could lose again, dog. Hey, man, we some haters because we really gotten more joy out of these losses than some wins. Greg, kick us to the next super chat, please.
Yeah, we got one more here from Nelson Gonzalez that says, "Nah, dog, Lamar is a choke artist. He has had the perceived best team in the league 2 times and is choked. That's why the Ravens didn't want to pay him. And by the way, he's not MVP with that lame middle of the road stats."
See, we having fun.
See,
we was having fun. We was having fun. Come on now, Nelson.
We appreciate you though, Nelson. We appreciate you though, Nelson.
Nelson, you saw an opportunity. I understand, and you wanted to get your hater agenda off. But like, we're not about to erase the whole season.
Hey, we're not above hating on here. We're absolutely not above.
We're
hating.
Absolutely not. But see, you gotta. There's a realm. You know what I mean? Like we can't. That's too much. That's too much, man. Come on. We know Lamar's really good at quarterback. We've seen it happen to us.
He needs to embrace running. Who cares? Who gives a fuck what these people got to say?
You know when he don't ever forget you know what pisses me off when he does that shit? He don't ever forget he can't run. He don't ever forget that he can run the football when he play us. He always missed to run the fucking ball against us. Right? He always remember he got in legs when he play us. And when he play Detroit or when he play fucking Kansas City, all of a sudden it's like, no, I don't want to run the ball. I want to win this game off principle. Where's that principle? Where is this standing on business when you play the fucking Browns, Lamar? All right? Yeah, I dare Lamar to beat the Browns without running the ball. You fucking running back. Is this what we got to do? Is this what we gotta do?
We gotta lean into it from now on.
Yeah. It's like, hey, next time JOK get out there, it's like, hey man, all we gotta do is get that motherfucker to throw. And then he need to come back out and one of them outfits that he be in, just stand in the middle of the Baltimore L and be like, yeah, what you gonna do? Run to me? Yeah, because that's all you can do, Lamar. Run. Yeah. And then that way we can finally beat the Ravens 2 times in 1 year. Like that might be great.